Hi guys, today we will be discussing how to determine the possible roots of a given polynomial function using the rational zero theorem. Okay, let's start na. Let's have first a short review on the roots of a polynomial function. A root of a polynomial function is a number that, when plugged in for the variable, makes the function equal to 0. So, roots, ang iba pang term na equivalent ng roots ay solutions. For example, find the roots of y is equal to x squared minus 9. Y is equal to x squared minus 9 is a quadratic polynomial function. So, that means to say we will have two roots. Okay? So, solution, so we will write the given polynomial function and then equate the right side of the function to 0 and then solve for the value of x. So, that means to say the values of x are positive and negative 3. Let us verify if the roots are correct by plugging the value of x to the given polynomial function. So if x is equal to positive 3, we will have y is equal to 3 square minus 9, and that will give us 9 minus 9, and that is 0. So that means to say positive 3 is correct. Next, if we have x is equal to negative 3, that means to say y is equal to the square of negative 3 minus 9. So, negative 3 square is equal to 9, and 9 minus 9 is equal to 0. So, that means to say the value of x, which is negative 3, is correct. So, therefore, our roots for the function or quadratic function y is equal to x squared minus 9 are 3 and negative 3. Let's now proceed to the rational root theorem. Given a polynomial, there is a process we can follow to find all its possible rational roots. This process is defined within the rational root theorem, which states that all the possible rational roots of a polynomial can be represented by p over q such that p over q is equal to all the factors of the constant all over factors of the leading coefficient. Okay, to make it simple, let us answer problem number 1. List all the possible rational roots of p of x is equal to 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. So, you are just asked to give the possible rational roots. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng possible rational roots? Yung possible rational roots, that includes the fraction roots, hindi lang siya whole number. Sa lahat ng makukuha nating possible rational roots, doon makukuha yung ating mga real roots. But this time, magko-concentrate lang muna tayo sa possible rational roots. We will have another set of video for all the real roots coming from the possible rational roots. Okay? So, going back, solution, sulat muna natin yung ating given polynomial function, and then we need to satisfy our mathematical representation for the possible rational roots, which is p over q is equal to factors of the constant and all over factors of the leading coefficient. So, ang una natin gagawin, find all the possible factors of the constant term. So, pag sinabi natin constant term, yan yung term sa polynomial function natin na walang variable. So, in this case, ang ating constant term sa ibang book, ginagamitan niya ng mathematical symbol as a sub 0, our constant term here in the given is negative 1. Please, pakisama ang sign ng ating constant. So, we will have negative 1. And then, ibig sabihin, ang factors ng negative 1 ay negative 1 saka positive 1. Paano nakuha yung factors? Ibig sabihin, pag minultiply mo yung dalawa na yun, ang sagot ay yung number na meron tayo. So, negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, which is our constant. Okay, step 2, find all the factors of the leading coefficient. Pag sinabi naman natin leading coefficient, yan yung numerical coefficient ng term na may highest exponent. So, in this case, ang ating term na may highest exponent ay itong 3x squared. Ito ang ating highest exponent. Yan yung ating leading term. So, ibig sabihin, ang ating leading coefficient ay yan, positive 3. Yung ibang book, ginagamitan nila ng symbol na a sub n. So, a sub n, leading coefficient, that is equal to 3. So, what are the numbers or integers that when we multiply will give us negative 3 as the product? So, that is negative 3, negative 1, 1, and positive 3. Paano naging positive 3 yan? So, negative 3 times negative 1, that is positive 3. Okay? And then, we have positive 1 times positive 3. That is also equal to positive 3. So, that's how you get the factors. Next, step 3, find the ratio of all the possible factors of the constant term over the possible factors of the leading term. Ano ang ibig sabihin niyan? So, gagawin na natin siyang ratio. Susulat natin siya sa fraction form, lahat. So, numerator over denominator. Remember, ang ating numerator ay factors ng constant. Ang ating denominator ay factors ni leading coefficient. And the next step, we will list all the possible rational roots. Paano ba yan i-list down? We are going to simplify the ratio. Kung pag sinabi natin i-simplify, i-divide na natin. Kung possible na i-simplify siya using whole number, we will be doing so. Okay? So, una natin, so, negative 1 divided by negative 3 is positive 1/3. Next is negative 1 divided by negative 1 is positive 1. Next, we have negative 1 coming from negative 1 divided by 1. And then next, we have negative 1 divided by positive 3. That will give us negative 1/3. So, tapos na tayo dito. Ang gagawin naman natin sunod ay yung pangalawang factor. So, lahat yan, pagpapares-paresin natin. So, we will have 1 divided by negative 3. That is negative 1/3. So, meron na. Kung meron na siya dyan sa nasulat yun ng possible roots, hindi nyo na kailangan i-duplicate. So, as is na siya. Isang beses lang siya dapat mag-appear. Next, we have ang susunod natin na pares ay positive 1 divided by negative 1. So, that will give us negative 1. Meron na rin. Next, we have ano na sunod natin? Positive 1 divided by positive 1. Positive 1 divided by positive 1, that will give us positive 1. Meron na rin. So, hindi na natin kailangan ulitin ang pagkakasulat ng possible root na yan. And then last, we have 1 divided by positive 3. So, that will give us positive 1/3. So, meron na. So, okay na. So, dahil dyan, meron tayong apat na possible roots, possible rational roots. Ibig sabihin yan, lahat ng real roots ng polynomial function 3x squared plus 2x minus 1, lahat ng possible roots na yan, diyan lang makikita sa apat na integers na yan. Negative 1/3, 1, negative 1, negative 1/3. Diyan lang. So, wala na dyan, hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng ibang roots na wala dyan sa apat na integers niyan. So, again, for this lesson, we will only concentrate to all the possible rational roots of the given polynomial. So, to make it a simplified form of the possible rational roots, gagamit tayo ng simplest symbol for positive and negative. So, that will, itong dalawa, itong 1/3 natin, saka itong negative 1/3 natin. So, simplify natin siya using positive negative 1/3. And then, itong ating positive 1, saka negative 1, isi-simplify natin siya sa positive negative 1. So, that's how you write the simplest form of the possible rational roots of the given polynomial function. Okay, so sana nakakasunod pa. Let's try number 2. Problem number 2, list all the possible rational roots of p of x is equal to 2x to the 4th minus 9x squared plus 7. So, we will write our guide. So, we have p over q is equal to the factors of the constant all over the factors of the leading coefficient. So, ang ating step 1, find all the possible factors of the constant term. So, ang ating constant term dito ay nasa dulo. So, we have positive 7. Okay? So, what are the possible factors of positive 7? So, we have negative 1. So, we have negative 1 times negative 7, that is positive 7. And then, we have positive 1 times positive 7, that will also give us positive 7. Okay, next step, what about the leading coefficient? So, titingnan nyo dito sa mga terms na to ang may highest exponent. So, in this case, ang highest exponent natin ay 4. So, ibig sabihin, ito ang ating leading term dahil yan ang ating may highest exponent. At ang ating leading coefficient ay, syempre, yung inyong numerical coefficient ng leading term. So, that is positive 2. So, what are the possible factors of positive 2? So, we have negative 1 times negative 2, that will give us positive 2. And then, positive 1 times positive 2, that will also give us positive 2. Okay, so we already have the factors of the constant and the factors of the leading coefficient. Now, we have step 3, find the ratio of all the possible factors of the constant term over the possible factors of the leading term. So, isa-substitute na natin yung mga factors nila. So, ang P ay meron tayong negative 1, 1, negative 7, positive 7. Ang Q ay negative 1, 1, negative 2, at positive 2. And then, isusulat na natin yung simplified form ng ratio. So, yan ay una 1. Saan galing yung 1? So, una, syempre, itong una muna, negative 1 divided by negative 1 is 1. Okay. Then, we have, ang susunod natin ay negative 1 divided by positive 1. Ang sagot dyan ay yan, negative 1. Next, negative 1 divided by negative 2? The answer is positive 1/2. So, unahin nyo yung numerator ha, divided by denominator. So, that is positive 1/2. And then next, negative 1 divided by positive 2. So, that will give us negative 1/2. Now, let's proceed to the next factor of the constant. We have positive 1. So, again, pagparis-parisin lang ang pag-divide. So, we have negative 1 divided by positive 1 divided by negative 1. That will give us negative 1. Ito na siya. Okay, so, hindi na natin uulitin ang pagsulat ng negative 1. Next, we have positive 1 divided by positive 1. That is positive 1. Next, we have positive 1 divided by negative 2. So, that will give us negative 1/2. Meron na rin. Next, we have positive 1 divided by 2. That will give us positive 1/2. Meron na rin. Okay na? So, next, sunod tayo sa ating constant factor ng constant term, which is negative 7. So, negative 7 divided by negative 1, that will give us positive 7. Then, negative 7 divided by positive 1, that will give us negative 7. Next, negative 7 divided by negative 2, that will give us positive 7 over 2. And then, last pair for negative 7, we have negative 7 divided by positive 2. That will give us negative 7 over 2. Okay na? And then, now, let's have our last factor of the constant term, which is positive 7. Okay, so positive 7 divided by negative 1, that is negative 7. Ito na siya. So, we don't need to duplicate. Next, we have positive 7 divided by positive 1. That is positive 7. Meron na rin. And then, positive 7 divided by negative 2. So, that is negative 7 over 2. Yan na. Meron na rin. And then, we have positive 7 divided by positive 2. And that will give us 7 over 2. Okay na. So, now, natapos na natin ang mga pares ng factors. And we will now simplify all these possible rational roots using the plus minus sign. So, we have ito, positive, ano ba yung dito? Pwede magsimula sa smallest value, smallest integer. So, we have positive 1/2 and then negative 1/2. So, that will be positive negative 1/2. And then, ang next dyan ay positive 1 and then negative 1. So, we will have positive negative 1. Then, we will have our, ito mas next na integer, we have positive 7 over 2 and negative 7 over 2. So, that is positive negative 7 over 2. And last, we have our positive 7 and then negative 7. So, that is positive, negative 7. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng roots ng ating polynomial function na p of x is equal to 2x to the 4th minus 9x squared plus 7, ang lahat ng roots na yan, pag sinabi natin roots, pag pinalit natin, sinubstitute natin sa variable x, magiging ito ay equal to 0. Lahat ng roots na yon ay dito lang natin makukuha. Diyan lang, no other possible answer for the roots. Dito lang tayo magko-concentrate. But again, we will have another set of video for getting the real roots from the possible rational roots. Okay? So, sana ay nakasunod. Pwede nang sagutan ang individual activities. Kung may tanong, kung may clarification, pwedeng isulat sa comment box or i-PM ako. Good luck! Thank you!